welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you how I made this really fun porch sign. It's got a lovely organza bow at the top, and then we've used a design from Cricut Design Space to pop onto this wooden board. It looks really great. It's going to look great in my porch, so let's make one for you. So the main thing that you're going to need is some board. This is 6mm thick MDF. You can get it from homeware shops. If you're in the UK, you'll be able to get it from places like B&Q or Homebase if you've got one near you, those sorts of places. You're also going to need your choice of paint. I am using this Blaze Orange acrylic paint for mine. You're going to need a paintbrush, or two actually maybe, and I am also using Mod Podge today to coat my piece of wood with after I've painted it orange. And the reason I'm doing that is because the board is quite rough on the top. The reason I'm using the Mod Podge is because my board is quite rough and the vinyl won't stick to it when it's like that, so I'm just putting this on to give it a nice smooth layer for it to stick to. You need your weeding tool and a scraper. You'll need your choice of vinyl. I'm using this black gloss vinyl today. You'll need some transfer tape or transfer paper. This is my usual favourite paper one, low tack, the tape contour paper. You can get this from MDP Supplies. I'll link it above and below for you. And then you're going to need your Cricut cutting mat and your Cricut machine. Now you can probably use a Joy for this if you're making a smaller sign, but if you are making a bigger sign, you're going to need an Explore family machine or a Maker family machine. So this is the piece of wood that I'm going to use for my porch sign. It's a 6mm thick MDF board, and it's an offcut actually that my dad gave me when they were doing something at my parents' house for their kitchen renovation. So I actually asked him if I could have this because I thought it's the perfect size to make a porch sign with. I'm just going to measure it now actually and just check the sizes. So it measures just over 21 centimetres across, and then length is 122. So 21 by 122 centimetres. I'm just going to write that down and then we can get to our designing portion. Next, I had a look through Design Space for a design to go on my board, and I decided on this boo design, and the code for this is on the screen now, and I'll also link it down below for you. So I'm just going to add that to my canvas. So what I will need to do is go over to the shapes menu and grab a square from there, and then I'll make this the size of my board. So here's my square. So to change the size, you can either do it manually by opening the padlock and stretching it out to the size, or you can go up to the top here, and I'm going to unlock the padlock and change the width measurement to 21, and then I'll change the height to 122. And that now is a true representation of the size of my piece of wood. Well, I can't get it all to fit on the screen because the zoom only goes down to 25%. So we'll have to have a little bit of creative license and see how it goes. So of course we don't want our design to be the exact same size as the board. So what I am going to do is go into here and again unlock the padlock, and I'm going to change the design to be 20 by 115 and see what that looks like. So that looks pretty cool. Let's just click on the rectangle that we're using as our template and just click on centre back, and now we can put this over the top of it here. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty cool, and I'm going to put it a bit further down because then I'll be able to put a bow or something at the top. I might even make it a little bit narrower actually. So let's do 17 by 110. Okay, and then we can just check. I reckon that's going to be pretty good. And then I'm going to put it a bit further down on my board. All right, and then I'll have room at the top to put a little bow or something fun on there. So obviously this is going to be too big to cut. So let's just get rid of the template now that we're happy with the size of our design. And we can see here that we've got the little warning triangle to say that it's too big. It's not supported by my machine because I'm using the original maker. If I was using the Explore Air 3 or the Cricut Maker 3, I'd be able to use Smart Materials and cut this all in one go. But because I'm not using one of those machines, I'm not going to be able to do that. But I don't want the outline around here either. So I'm going to get rid of that. So I'm going to go into Contour because I can't ungroup that design to get rid of that. You can see both of those are greyed out, so I'm going to come down to Contour and try and do it that way first of all. So just come into Contour. All right, so I'm only going to be able to get rid of the top and the bottom one, and then I'm going to have to slice out sorry, I'm only going to be able to get rid of this one and this one and this one because I think that is all one piece. Yeah, so I'm not going to be able to get rid of the bottom one, so I've done that. So those pieces will have disappeared. That is perfect. Then I need to get rid of these ones myself. So to do that, if you're not familiar with how we can do this, I'm going to show you now how to use Slice to manipulate a design to make it exactly how you want it to be. If you can't contour it and you can't ungroup it to hide those layers. So let's go over here now to Shapes. And we're going to pick up a square again. And that's there now. So what we'll want to do is just take the cursor over to the padlock, and we're going to stretch that down and make it quite thin. And I'm going to duplicate that as well because I'm going to need 2 of those. Move that to one side for now, and then this piece I'm going to bring down and I'm going to cover up the piece that I don't want. Okay, so now I've got those 2 items on the screen, and the boo and the witch is all one layer. So what I can do is just drag over those items. So now on the right hand side, those 2 layers are highlighted, which means they're selected. And at the bottom, I've got the slice feature that's appeared. So if I click on Slice now, okay, so now you can see it's drawn a line over the top. And on the right hand side, we've got a couple of slice results. So we can now move that away and get rid of it. We can click on that piece. That's actually the piece of the grey oblong that we put on the screen, and then that is the piece that we don't want on the design. And then I'll just do exactly the same thing again on this side, which is why I duplicated the square. Okay, so I've done the same, covered up the piece that I don't want. So now I can select those 2 items and slice again, and now I can get rid of all of that like I did before. So now I've got the design exactly how I want it, with just the words, the exclamation mark and the witch at the bottom. But I don't want to cut it all in one go, obviously, because I can't on the machine that I've got. So what I'm going to do now is get a square again, and I'm going to break this design down completely so that each letter is separate. And the way I'm going to do that is again by using Slice. So I'm just going to duplicate my square 4 times. Hopefully that will be big enough for the bottom one as well. So what I'm going to do is move them. I don't know why they won't move out the way completely. Okay, so I'm going to just send that to the back so I can make sure I'm covering that up. And then I'm going to select those 2 again and slice. Alright, and now I've got my bee on its own. I can get rid of that one. And I'm just going to keep doing that now for all of my design. So the next step now is to just paint my board orange, and I'm using some normal acrylic paint that I just picked up from Poundland. You can get this in B&M or the Works and places like that as well. So just use this really nice bright orange colour. I'm just going to paint it all, and then once it's dry I'm going to give it a coat of Mod Podge, and I lost the footage of me painting with the Mod Podge just to cover up the orange. And the reason that I used Mod Podge was just to give the vinyl something to adhere to, because the board is too sort of dry almost for the vinyl to stick to properly, and I think by giving it a good paint over and a good coat of Mod Podge will help the vinyl to stick to it better. So here is my design now, and it's ready to cut. So because I've sliced all of my letters and the witch at the bottom, they've all got their own separate layer now, and that allows me to move them around the page. And you can see that the warning triangles disappeared, because now we'll be able to cut this whole design really easily on the maker. So I'm going to go through to make it now. So you can see that we can fit this whole design now onto 2 mats. I'm going to prepare my mats now and then cut it out, and I'll come back to you once the cutting's done. So my 2 sheets of vinyl are completely cut now. So now I need to do my weeding, and what I'm going to do for this is just pop my vinyl sheets onto a old standard grip mat, just to give me a little helping hand. So I'm just going to pop them on there. Don't need to press it down too much, and I'm just going to weed out everything that I don't want for my design. I'm just going to start off by cutting away the spare vinyl on this, because there's probably about 2 inches on this side that I'll be able to use for another project. So let's just use my paper trimmer to just get rid of that. So I could probably use that on something else, and I do like to keep all of my scraps. So I'm just going to weed this away now. This is cut really nicely. So I like to reference the design that I'm doing on my screen while I'm weeding it, just to make sure that I get the right pieces out. So I'm just going to take out that centre. I'll put the design up on the screen now so that you can see what I mean. Okay, there is one done. Let's just get that off, and I'll just weed the second sheet now. And this is the one that was a bit bigger, so it was a full 12 by 12 size. Okay, so I'm just going to weed all this now, the same as I did with the other one. And the witch is on here, she's at the bottom with the exclamation mark. Go around there. And she is our little witch. Okay, so we don't have any more to weed on the witch. Just need to take out the middles of these letters, and again make sure we get the right piece on the O, because normally you take that piece out, but with this design it's a little bit different. Okay, so now we've got those all weeded, we can just cut our designs up into their separate letters so that we can attach them onto the board. So let's just cut these up. Just be careful that you don't cut your design. I'll put a link below to the vinyl that I'm using today. It is the Tape 440. It's a permanent vinyl from MDP Supplies. I use it all the time for lots of different things, and it is exterior rated, I believe, so you could use it outdoors if you wanted to. I'm not planning on putting this outdoors, mind you. Okay, just cut that off there carefully. So now we are ready to start applying our design to the board. Next I apply transfer tape onto my designs and put them onto my board. Next I used some organza that I had on hand just to make a little ruffle bow and stuck it on just using my hot glue gun. So that's it, that's the porch sign all made and ready to go on display for Halloween. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, I'd love it if you would hit the like button. If you've got any questions or comments, drop them down below and I will respond to you as soon as I can. Have a great week, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye!